Am I the bad guy for telling my aunt I'm not sharing a bed? My aunt tried forcing me to share my bed, and I refused to do so. Little backstory. I'm a male, 14. I went on vacation with my family, my mom, dad, and nephew. My mom had rented an Airbnb, and we had been staying there for a few days. My aunt had come to stay along with my sister, which I was aware of. Since I had gotten there though, my aunt kept insisting I share the beds, which mind you are twin size, maybe a dot smaller. The morning after she got there, they escorted me to the side of the bed saying, "Look, we can both fit." After I said I still will not be sharing the bed with her, she started talking about me sharing the bed with my sister's boyfriends, or even suggesting I sleep on a blow-up mattress. Later on, when my aunt, our siblings, and cousins arrived, she kept on insisting I share a bed, despite me saying no multiple times. That night, once we started getting ready for bed, she started telling me, "You need to choose already who you're going to sleep with." At that point, I cut her off, as I was tired of her hearing about it. I tell her hell no, and that I will not be sharing my bed whatsoever. I had been staying there for the past 4 days, and I'm not going to move just for the one night. I told her my parents paid for the place and paid for me to lay on the bed by myself, not with another man or on my mattress in the living room. This made her extremely angry. She went upstairs going off about how I was spoiled and that I'm not royalty, nor should I act like that. I went upstairs to where my mom made me apologize. I said I was sorry for the way I responded, but that I wasn't sorry for my decision. She responded by saying that because I didn't let somebody on my bed, that I wasn't actually sorry. My parents and nephew both support my decision and think she was out of line. My honest take is that there was no reason for this whole situation. It's not like there wasn't any room for others to sleep. There were mattresses, space on the couch. We were doing fine. But even then, if she would have just asked me politely to share the bed or to even sleep on the mattress, I will be honestly consider it. One more thing I don't understand was that she didn't pay for the Airbnb, so I don't understand why she was trying to kick me out of my own bed if the roles were reserved. I wouldn't have even asked her or any other people staying at the Airbnb because I didn't pay for it and I didn't get there first. So anyways, am I the bad guy here? Am I the bad guy for giving my mother-in-law 3 days to pay me for a new wedding dress, or else I showed the family a photo of her wearing it? So I'm getting married to my fiancé soon. I bought my wedding dress weeks ago. My mother-in-law keep pestering me about trying it on, but I firmly refused. I finally shut it down after she offered me $100 to let her try it on. Her reasoning for persisting so much: she says it became of her love for wedding dresses and her obsession with them. Fast forward to yesterday, I come home from work early and I found my fiancé at home. He freaked out after seeing me and trying to prevent me from going into my room while trying to text somebody on his phone. I opened the door and I was shocked to see his mom standing there wearing my dress. I instantly pulled out my phone and took a photo of her in it. She and my fiancé freaked out after I told that she needed to pay me for a new dress in 3 days, or else I'll show the whole family the photo. She started crying, and then left, and my fiancé blew up at me saying I can't be serious and that I overreacted because his mom just wanted to try the dress on. No harm done. But I refused to listen to him because it's my opinion, and the dress should be only worn by the bride, and the bride only. Quite frankly, I felt disgust looking at the dress again. I don't want it anymore. And so I think it's fair that she pays me after she ruined it for me. He yelled at me and told me to wake up and stop treating his mom like that, as if she was an enemy. We had a fight after he failed to get me to back down, and he's been staying with his mom since then. I feel awful, but I spent $3,000 on this dress and worked hard to get it. I can't stand looking at it, but people in my family think I'm escalating things and risking my relationship with not only mother-in-law but my fiancé as well. So am I the bad guy here? I don't know. Am I the bad guy for telling my dad and stepmom she will not be my main priority on Mother's Day and to pick another day? My mom died when I was 7, and it was a hard loss for me. My dad remarried when I was 10, and I'm now 16. The first 4 years, my dad and stepmom were okay with me not celebrating her for Mother's Day. The last couple have been more difficult. Dad has tried to get me to buy her a Mother's Day card and to spend the day with her. I have always said no. Then about a month ago, they decided that since next year my half-sister will be first when the day comes around, we shall do vacation and make my stepmom the star of the day. He said they can go, but I won't be, and that she will never be my main priority on Mother's Day, but if they want a day where I focus on her, they can pick Stepmother's Day or something. My dad said he had enough with me denying her Mother's Day. I'll tell him she's a mother now, so she can have her own child celebrate her for Mother's Day, but she is not my mother, and she is not even the woman I consider my primary mother figure. That goes to my paternal grandma, who I'm very close to, and who actually agrees with me. Dad and her have fought over this. She said she might be his mother, but she was also the only mother my mom ever knew. Her mom abandoned her as a baby, and she was raised by the father who resented her. And she loved her like a daughter and understood why I wanted Mother's Day to be for my mom. My stepmom asked me why I can't celebrate my mom another day. Make her birthday the day where she's my main though, and focus on her, who's living, breathing, feeling, and she said mostly important. She has been in my life almost longer than my mom now. She asked how I can have known her as mom for 6 years and not want to celebrate her on the days for moms. I told her I never knew her as my mom. I've never once looked at her and felt that bond or thought of her in that way. I tell her when I think of mom, I think of my mom, and if I heard mom figure, it's my grandma, not her. I said she doesn't even make the list. I tell her since she's my stepmom, another day it's fine by me, but not Mother's Day. My dad told me I have a rotten attitude and to think about the embarrassment my stepmom will feel if they do a trip for Mother's Day and I refuse to go and make it special for her. That refusing to give her Mother's Day is like saying her contribution doesn't matter. He also said picking another day that hardly anyone knows about it's not a compromise. It's shaming her. So am I the bad guy? Am I the bad guy for telling my sister-in-law it's suspicious that her Inborn has green eyes while her and my brother has hazel eyes? I'm autistic, so I don't get social clues that easily, as I'm majoring in biology. Yesterday we had a family gathering after my brother got his first Inborn, and everyone seemed happy and giving their congratulations. When I saw the baby and his green eyes, I couldn't hold the thought about how can we have a green eyes while his parents has hazel brownish eyes. And I told my sister-in-law it's a bit suspicious that her Inborn has green eyes while yours and my brother has hazel eyes. And she said that she asked the doctor and he said that's normal for the Inborn to have a lighter eyes and it will get darker as she grows. I said that's weird because as far as I remember from my biology classes, that happens when one of the parents is lighter and the other darker eyes. And I asked her if she's sure that nothing happened after her night shift job, her work time alternate each month. She suddenly said she doesn't feel well and I want to sleep and asked us if we could leave. And then I left with my mom and she called me bad guy for hurting her feelings. And I have no degree in medicine and their doctors know the better than me. So, am I the bad guy here? Am I the bad guy for ruining my brother-in-law's proposal plan? Hello, I'm male 24. Me and my now wife have been high school sweethearts. We decided to get married last year in May. Everybody was supportive on our marriage and everything was going well until 2 days before our wedding. My brother-in-law told me he wanted to propose to my sister at my wedding. They've been together for 3 years and have a lovely daughter named Jackie. It's fake name. I told him I needed to think about it, and he gave me time till the next day. After thinking for a bit, the next day I met with him and my sister at the bar. After my sister went to the bathroom, I mentioned his proposal plan and how I was not going to tolerate him trying to make this magical day that was for my wife and me about him. He blew up on me, calling me all sorts of names. He told me he had told his family and had bought the ring because he was 100% sure I will tolerate that kind of behavior on my wedding. My anger issues couldn't hold back and my face turned red. I told him, "You literally asking me if I want you to ruin the best day of my life? Imagine if I told my sister that you wanted to marry her. It wouldn't be a surprise anymore, would it? How we feel that way?" After that, he went quiet and I looked around the bar. Everybody was looking at our table, including my sister who had heard everything. My sister and my brother-in-law ran out of the bar and cut contact with me and my wife. They never came to my wedding until at Thanksgiving. When everybody in my family showed up there, I saw her. She called me a bad guy for not letting my brother-in-law propose to her at my wedding. It will be the best day of her life. But I apparently unnecessarily stepped in and stopped my brother-in-law for no good reason. Me and my sister both share the same friend group, and everybody in the group is pretty split on my decision. Some accuse me of being the bad guy, but I can see why. So, I'm not the bad guy here. I'm not the bad guy for making a point. If they can't respect my future wife, they don't need to have a free housing. So hello, English is my second language. I have a few properties. I work hard from them and did pretty well. I'm 62 and my wife passed away when I was in my 40s. Now I'm dating again and I think I found the one I want to spend the rest of my life with. The problem is my kids think she is a gold digger. She's really not. Their main complaint is that she's 51, but that age gap is really small for how old I am. Now my 2 kids live in the house rent-free. They just have to pay utilities and I pay the rest. I did this so they can get a head start, but they have been living rent-free for a super long time, like 7 years for oldest and 5 for youngest. Now I proposed to her and she said yes. So I invited my kids to an engagement party. When I told them the news, they both started yelling about how she's a gold digger, that she lives in my home for free and doesn't contribute. I laughed at that and told them to stop. They didn't, so I told them that if they can respect my future wife, then they don't get their free housing, that they get to move out since by their standards, they're gold diggers also. They left. And I followed up with them. They have a month to move out if their positions doesn't change. Both are calling me bad guy. So what do you think? I'm not the bad guy for refusing to look after my nephew when her stepdad was dying in hospital. I still live at home with my mom and my younger brother. I'm 19, female. My older sister, 28, has a son, my nephew. My sister loves spontaneous nights out with random men. I will never judge how many people she sleeps with or goes out partying with. My only problem is when she brings strange men around my nephew. Whenever she used to want to go out, she would offer to pay me to look after my nephew. I agreed, and the first time went perfectly. She picked him about an hour late, but that wasn't an issue. The second time, she knew I was going to see my long-distance boyfriend. The next day, I had a train early in the morning. She said she will be back at the 10 p.m. to pick him up. Had to be up at the 6 a.m. and whilst I thought it was a little late, I agreed. Long story short, she and the guy hooked up and she told me she would pick him up before my train, which she didn't, and he kept me up night crying. I had to ask our dad to come pick him up. I also didn't get paid. Third time, I'll keep it short. Surprised me with a visit. Told me that she was going shopping, didn't come back to pick him up, and her phone kept going to voicemail. My stepmother sent me pictures of my sister's snap story of her in bed with a man. Didn't get paid. Fourth time, and the last time. She had a breakdown, went to a hospital, and he was my responsibility for a month. Reasonable, but didn't even receive a thank you. After those last few times, I refused to look after him again unless she was present all times. One day, she, my nephew, and her brand new boyfriend were stuck in a hotel, and she was crying on the phone to me, asking me to look after him because they were going to visit her dying stepdad and didn't want to bring my nephew. I told her no and to hire a babysitter, and I was done babysitting for free. And if she dumped him on me one more time, I will call Child Protective Services. In the end, turns out she lied about the situation and was seen partying with her new boyfriend once she took my advice. I was called a bad guy because that if the situation was real, and also because I threatened Child Protection Service. So, am I the bad guy here? Am I the bad guy for telling my friend I don't care about her pregnancy? So I have a friend who's always having raw sex with different guys. She says they always pull out, so she doesn't need to take plan B, and I constantly tell her that's not really how it works. Also, her mom got pregnant the same way at the age 15. She always swore she'd never ever give up her virginity and judge girls that had sex in any way. I tell her she's been dumb and careless, especially because her mom went through the same thing, and the last she could do is take plan B or get on birth control. But either way was putting herself at risk for STIs. She also insinuated that those guys barely know how to pull out and will always do it in her abate. She is the type of person to constantly ask for advice and do the opposite and cry about it to you later on. And I've told her he's annoying and hypocritical as well. And if she's going to be those things, I don't want to hear about it. Mind you, those guys that she has sex with are all dad beds or stringless comers. I tell her if she ever needed an abortion, there is no way she could get it because those guys wouldn't pay, and she definitely couldn't tell her mom. And besides that, right now it's a really difficult time to get an abortion. She laughed and said she would ask me, and I made it clear that I want nothing to do with that. Well, it finally happened and she's pregnant, but doesn't even know who the dad is. She was hysterical and asked me to grab more tests for her, so I did. They were all positive. I was so annoyed with her, but still consoled her because obviously it wasn't the time to piss on her, and she said she wanted an abortion. I stayed with her for a while and went back home. She blows up my phone the next morning asking me what's the next step and how are we getting money for abortion. I told her I'm really sorry, but she knows the consequences of her actions, and I told her before that I will really be of no help because I truly don't have the financial or mental means to help her. She said I was being inconsiderate and a witch, and I told her she knew very well what she was doing, and I'm sorry. I just don't care about her situation right now. So am I the bad guy here? Am I the bad guy for paying for my son's honeymoon and wedding? My younger son, Charlie, has a 15-year-old daughter, Kaya, from a previous relationship. When he got married to his wife, she and Kaya didn't get along, so Kaya stopped going to Charlie's home as much and spends most of her time at my older son Derek's home. Because of Kaya, Derek had a hard time getting married because most women didn't get along with Kaya or were unwilling to basically become a stepmom to their boyfriend's niece. Derek, however, got engaged a few months ago, and his new partner is Angel. She's very nice and sweet and gets along with Kaya very well. Feel so happy when I found out about the engagement that I told them that I will be paying for both the honeymoon and wedding. Charlie and his wife weren't happy when they heard the news and asked why I'm doing this for Derek but didn't do the same for them. I told them that it was mostly because I didn't and still don't approve of their marriage. They called me a bad guy and said it's not fair because Derek can afford a very good wedding and a honeymoon even without my help, while they couldn't hardly afford a small wedding. I told them that this is not my problem, and they left, and now refusing to speak to me. So, am I the bad guy here?